Well, look at this beautiful little outfit you got.
Oh yeah.
I just got back from vacation. This is the only thing I cleaned.
Well, there you
I was
go.
like, let me put on some layers. Pretend I tried.
I love it.
Yeah, it's cute.
Wait, can I get a picture of you?
Oh yeah, sure. I don't know what to do with my.
Can you share your pictures with me?
I can share
Since
them.
you're taking good ones.
I don't know if they're gonna be good. I need
She
the light.
doesn't know.
Well, I need the light.
The light's on that side, actually.
Well, actually, most of it. This is a better shot,
Actually.
Actually. One more.
Yeah.
Nonye was like, I'm not ready for that.
I
Okay,
am
we'll do
not.
another one. We'll do
This
another one.
week
I
is
just
like
got
falling,
off the train.
like falling out.
She's like,
Where are your hoop earrings?
I know. I need big earrings with this. I wasn't thinking. Complete the look.
all right, you need to relax.
I know. I'm like hyped up on coffee.
No, you need to put that coffee away. And you putting that German whatever that was in your coffee. Just put a little.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's actually.
By the way, I finally sat down and watched the Klansman movie by Spike Lee.
The KK.
I'm not a fan.
You didn't like it?
It was funny in parts, but it was disjointed.
What was it? Spike Lee?
Yeah, with the
was.
story, he doesn't write. He doesn't take time to write stories. That's not his
I know,
forte.
so why pretend?
Does that make sense? You know.
Yeah,
But
he's a
didn't he
visual
win an award for that?
artist.
He did, yeah.
He did.
You know what?
That's what he won an award for, and I disagree.
I also, well, I can go on about that.
Me
What
too.
did you see it down here?
I did,
I'm
and I
rooting
knew the
for him.
story
I'll spend my money
before,
and
so I was
support
just
him.
excited
It
to
was
see
not
Rebel
it.
Black.
What a
Sydney
great story-
Poitier did like a
storytelling.
version of that story before, and that
Really?
was good. Yeah, back like in the 70s,
Oh,
I
I
would
didn't know
say.
that.
And that was good, but I was excited to see Spike Lee's version.
Yeah.
And I knew it was gonna be like very Spike Lee.
Oh,
It was
And I knew
very
it was gonna
Spike Lee.
be like that, so I was excited even though it didn't make sense at times. But I think if I didn't already know the story, I would have not liked it at all.
That
probably.
makes sense.
Oh,
Because
but
a lot of my
you
friends
already
didn't.
knew the
Yeah.
story. How? Oh, wow. So it is a real story.
It
right?
is. So like you kind of need to know the story to fill in the parts that you
Right.
left out.
He doesn't explain how the guy got there. That to me is a big part of what would make it interesting from the get.
Yeah.
I think he's just a lazy writer. I don't mean lazy in a,
No,
to
I-
be nasty, but
Well, we won't talk about him because I need to get hired.
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, my friends, also one of my closest friends is on his show, and I have to be careful now what the
All
fuck
of
I
us do.
say.
All of us
And
do.
I used to talk bad shit, like, cause he did an army commercial and like all this
I
bullshit.
think,
But-
are we on the air now?
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Sorry, Santi.
I'm loving this group today.
Sorry, she's let have it.
This is a fun group today.
Let's go. Well, when does this start?
We
man?
started.
We started like.
Well, aren't you
Terri,
supposed
will
to do
you
your
stop
thing?
directing and
Oh.
just enjoy yourself?
I'm
Terri,
done for the
Terri,
day.
just be a part
I'm
of.
done for the day.
Be
After
a
this.
part of what this is.
Okay.
Terri is
Oh,
just so. Okay, so let me try to introduce all of you. Terri is my trainer / friend. Like Isis said, I ever had a choice. Isis is my friend, not a ideology.
Good.
But she's my friend who's like,
That's her real name too.
yeah, like I did not have a choice with Terri being Terri. Terri knows everyone in my family, talks to my mother.
That's true.
I don't even know how that happened.
It happened.
She's gonna
I
see
found
my.
out Marina's Jewish from her mother.
Wait, you are?
Well, this is not
What
proven.
are you not telling?
This
It
is.
is.
It's not proven.
You look well.
What did my mom say?
Your mom told me that she was like almost half Jewish or something.
Alleged.
like that.
And she's
Alleged.
probably wrong. Yeah.
No,
I-
she said that we had a whole conversation
can't
about it.
believe
They
my
did
mom.
23andMe, whoever the other,
Oh,
your
that's
grandma.
one. Jay
And
did
then-
23andMe.
Don't believe that.
And then I found out that
They
that
keep
makes
your
you like a
DNA.
quarter Jew or something.
They
Well,
want
on the
everyone to
mother's
be a
side.
quarter Jew. Don't
My-
believe it.
My mom told me I was Jewish too. Then I got a DNA test. I got a sequencing through my doctor because I had like problems or whatever. And then I found out that I was just Nigerian. I was like, all right, so where does
You
the
look
Jewish come
Nigerian
from?
to me.
Well, why does my mom say we're Jewish then?
Well,
What part
our
of the
moms,
I
because
know.
our moms want us to be Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
That
It's a
must
good
be it.
My mom has always wanted me to be Jewish since I grew up in Highland Park outside of Chicago. It's mostly Jewish neighborhood, and my dad actually was mentored in school. He had Jewish mentors that helped him because they came into it was a tough school, so they took him on. So my dad believed, this was his belief, that if I grew up in a Jewish school I would do better.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Highland Park has New Trier, which is where Donald Rumsfeld went to school. Like, I probably wouldn't be a stand-up comedian if I had gone to New Trier. I may have been the president of the United States by now.
Wow.
Well, no, I'm too young.
I'm messaging your mother now to find out.
See, and that's enough. Do not message my mother. There are boundaries. She's boundaryless.
I'm sticking
You
to
can
the
put up
conspiracy.
boundaries, but she
I don't
will
believe none of this shit.
kick the boundary down.
If I like you, if I don't like you, you won't hear from me. We were
Kick
just
it down.
talking about that.
And we also have, so
I'm
we,
with it.
Nonye, this is returning. Nonye has not been here for a while. Thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
You know, I actually, well, I won't tell you the story later. I thought I had booked you and I booked that's another story. She looks just like
Nonye, don't
but
accept
that's
it.
another story.
There are a lot of us
Nonye,
Nigerian.
yeah, Nigerian, and Mariam, who we just finished doing a video for a friend as a favor for like food.
It was for a solar powered women like it was amazing, really. It's hard to explain all in one
Yes.
breath what it was,
I know.
but it is like a food justice related sort of like
For the
solar powered
Amazon, right?
non-electric oven that looks like a bonnet.
It's like if you were
It's
to
amazing.
put your pot of food to bed.
Yes,
Like
I gotta show you.
Yeah.
We gotta show them.
like if you were to
Lit a bonnet.
swaddle a pot.
In a bonnet with yeah.
And
Yeah.
it cooks.
And
like,
it cooks while you go to work.
And it's for the Amazon ladies.
I know.
Amazon tribe. Well, because
Yeah, one of in Bolivia.
oh, in Bolivia.
It was a Bolivian Amazon tribe, right?
Right, so that they can do what they need to do
And just
not,
leave it.
yeah, and just leave it, not like sit over the stove all day.
At a
which-
certain temperature, right?
It allowed them actually to be politically active because
So they can cook them
what
and
happens
go
is the forest is so dense it burns down.
Yeah.
So you can't leave an open fire and just walk away from it. So the women were like bound to this fire, and then this thing, just like was like it's not even like the craziest thing when you see it. It literally is like fabric, and it just is that it changed their life. Like it's so cool, and we did like a video about it.
You went to Bolivia and did it?
We
Okay.
went to the LES. No, where were we? We were trying to.
we were on the Lower East Side.
They ain't really. They probably take. We be the last ones they call to go to Bolivia.
Probably. Marina was there too?
Yeah, we were there
Yes,
together.
I didn't
Oh,
go
you
to
helped
Bolivia.
people. Oh, no.
Oh,
I
you
did
helped
help
the
people.
people?
Yeah.
No, they helped us because
Alright.
it was great to learn. We had fun.
Yeah, we did have fun. And what I love about Mariam, see, I learned a lot about her that day. That's why I was like, I have to have you on the show.
Mhm.
Because she's, you know, I feel like I've known you. That's the
But
thing.
We do probably. From
Like,
another
I'm wearing my
lifetime.
hoop earrings like for
Thank God
Mariam
she has
because, you know, she wears her hoop earrings. She's real.
22 years. but
She's
they
real,
aged
real. Like, I don't,
That
like,
was a lot.
100%. Is that how, wait,
That's-
100?
Well, honey.
Like the emoji, it's like a red emoji. It's red. It says 100, and then it has 2 lines under the 0.
Look at me. I'm like, she's 100%.
Thank you.
The minute I walked in here, I talked to her like I'd known her for like.
You know what I think
Okay.
it is, guys? I think we are in a really weird time, and we are just searching for authenticity. We're looking in the wrong places. But then when we actually, especially like women, like when we get like. When we feel that, like, oh, I see you, really, you know, like we really like click and
Now-
reach out.
Jay, are the earrings, I love them, but are they going to be an audio issue?
Cause they were in our other video,
Yes.
but Natalie's a perfectionist, and so is Dave. So maybe we
I
were
was like,
part of
no,
the
they're not
perfection.
taking her culture away while she's
No,
doing
no, you take my culture.
But, so Nonye is a comedian. I'm a comedian. Terry is a trainer.
Wait a minute. I do
Mariam
I am a
is
comedian. No, I'm
manages
kidding.
Art Start in, is it Sonic?
Oh, that's the name of the program. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like a city funded. That's the name of one of the programs. The program I'm most responsible for running.
But you do like a lot.
I do a lot of shit.
You do a lot of stuff. She has 4 kids.
I got this 1, 2, yep, 4.
Wow.
And you do a lot of after school, like you help children in shelters?
I run the program, right. So this program would be like in a school,
Like
but I run it in a shelter. So basically, like, it's an arts-based program. Every day they have a different art medium. So like, right now we actually have a unit coming up. It's all based in self-care. So it's like, and sustainability. It's I call it like the 3 S's, whatever. So one day is food justice cooking, right? So that kind of is like, it's arts, because it's culinary arts, but it's also STEM, which is like, it's like technology, science, math, all that stuff, right? Then we have one day of like pure self-care, where they're also doing science and math by creating bath products and like deodorant, lip gloss with our teaching artists, not just myself.
Like women stuff.
Of course,
Okay.
completely. So the way to do it right in that age group without like embarrassing, everyone's so weird. They're so weird. No one's really talking to them. Like
What age group is that?
I really have middle school. I'm supposed to have middle school, but I take any ages from K to high school right now.
Oh Lord.
So it typically is all middle school, because that's the only age group that really shows up. Is like elementary to middle, and then you lose them. Or you lucky enough and you get a good high school program, and you can keep those kids like, off the street, or, off the computer or off their phone. It's not like my time when it was like out the street.
Yeah.
It's like, so they're just in the house, like on the phone, you know what I mean? Sedentary lifestyle, whatever.
Now, where do they go? Where do you meet them? Is it in
So
the
it's in the shelter.
Oh, it's
They
in the
leave their respective schools. They could be there in the shelter. So you could be from Brooklyn and live in a shelter in the Bronx, because that's what homelessness does. It just displaces you, not just from your house, but from your entire community, because you become sort of like at the whim of the system. They don't care if you grew up in Brownsville. They don't care. They're like, you go to this shelter where we have room, which also could be understandable. Like, well, we want you to be safe. We want you to have somewhere to go, but homelessness really shreds our communities apart, and gentrification we're seeing in the past, I'd say like 20 years, the results of that. What's what it's from the, like, let's say early 2000, like the post Giuliani like wreck that we were, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're seeing how this has created we have the average stay in a shelter is 2 years. That's crazy
for kids.
Yeah, that means you could be in middle school and enter high school, and like your whole, like, how much you jump in those 2 years. Like, it's a long time. We have undocumented families who are trapped in the shelter like 4 years, 5 years,
But that seems like now a better place than
Oh my God. Well, unfortunately, you know why it's not? ICE trucks have been showing up at institutions like my kid's old school, like Castle Bridge, which is a progressive public school that has a 10% population of formerly incarcerated, the children of formerly incarcerated or incarcerated parents. Very like inclusive. The principal goes out of her way to make sure it doesn't become whitewashed and completely, you know what I'm saying? Because white people tend to take over the public school system in that way. They know how to do it. They say, oh, we're cousins, and they apply the way we all would do, and like, you know what I mean, in the regular city lotteries, and then they take over that school, and then that school sort of becomes like a proxy private school. You know what I mean? Sort of like elbowing out children of color. And, so gentrification just forces homelessness through the roof. Where are you going to go? Even if you have 2 working parents, just maybe 1 kid or even 2 kids, you know what I'm saying? Food, clothes, rent, you talking about rent 1 bedrooms are what right now? Like, no one can stand it.
One of the things, like, when I was working with you that I love is, like, well, well, we were having so much fun, you and I. We were just like, neither one of us, like, I don't know my lines, but I'm like, we're having fun. But, I'm thinking, like, you come from such a real place. You don't have to show how to act. You don't have to tell someone how to, I didn't have to, like, Natalie didn't have to tell you, how to say this line. Or you come from such a real place, and I know, tell us or tell our listeners about, like, why you do come from this experience and why you connect with these kids on this level.
What's this is a little fucked up, but I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I'm gonna keep it real because we're just gonna keep it real at this little wooden table. And the truth is,
It's
like,
not a red table, but
you know,
it's good enough.
yeah, right? Please, this is fire. This table is, don't sleep on this table, red table. We're not Hollywood.
Because before we started, we were talking about the rapper.
Nipsey.
Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
Damn. Rest in power, Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle, you know, so first of all, to even talk about Nipsey Hussle and like why he means so much, I could talk a little bit about myself. I mean, he's not from we're not from the same place. We're not from, you know, he is a through and through. I relate to him in the sense that I feel like this. He is so, was he from Rolling 60s? Which if you're from LA, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, that's like his neighborhood, which is like by Crenshaw or whatever. And like, I'm not from LA, that's not my community, but he's like a walking, breathing monument to his community. You see him, you identify him, like with LA, with his city, with his people, with
He gave a lot back to the community.
It's beyond that. It's like, I feel like that towards New York. I feel the same way towards New York. I have a love affair with New York. You know, I am the product of like the late 90s, early 2000s, you know. I grew up in the 90s. I was shot in a drive-by. I was in a gang. I lived a different time in the city. Hip-hop was different. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I'm not proud of the young kids, like, and how it shifted to the South. None of that. Not to talk bad. I'm just saying the culture was different.
Right.
You know, it was not completely corporatized. And so when something is not corporatized, it's very authentic. And it's almost a feeling. Yes. It's almost like you had to be in New York to really even like feel that. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what's amazing is how it vibrated in the world, and that shows you how, like, you know what I'm saying? But long story short, and he's my peer, like he was in his mid-30s, you know. He meant a lot to his community because he humanized gangbanging to the point that it was not like we are criminals who are, you know, selling drugs or moving weight and all these fantastical Hollywood lies, you know, that they were normal kids who literally had to cultivate something in the street. I mean, people don't have any clue what South Central or like these neighborhoods were really like. Like, you just have these, like, what is it called? Like porn from Hollywood porn, poverty porn.
Oh, poverty.
But you don't know what it means to live that life.
What is it, like the Friday movies? I'm thinking of like the Chris Tucker.
Well, that's like a fun, you know, like it's probably inspired by all of LA cultures, but that's not. That's like, yeah, as a kid in New York, we watch that shit. We think we know about
America
LA.
Was introduced.
We think we know.
Compton was
Boys in the Hood,
essentially.
Okay.
Mainstream America.
Or like Juice, like all those movies
right,
that came out.
which have their place.
Yeah.
They have their place. They have their place, and you know what? I'm not a black man and I'm not a black woman. I can't speak on what that means to someone, right? Like in that community, in that from LA, if they feel like that represents them. I don't know. But I do know that a lot of it for sure is poverty porn or exploits the struggles of those communities, and that just is what it is, right? Because it's corporatized.
I love that. Poverty porn.
It's Hollywood, right? So with Nipsey Hussle and people like Nipsey Hussle, they were saying like, no. First of all, I want to own everything I do. No white man is gonna pimp me out. Nice. And like, I'm gonna own a store in my community. I'm gonna put branding that represents me. I mean, you will see a lot of Gucci on him, I will say that. But like, you know, I was looking through all these beautiful pictures of him and like I saw a lot of Gucci, but he definitely was pro, like, I'm me, like us. Oh, you made your own brand? Yeah, okay. He was known to buy people's things, buy other,
you know. Shoes. Hussle once gave a pair of shoes to every kid at 59th Street Elementary School, and also donated money to renovate its basketball court.
But that's probably the least of it.
Yeah.
I think when you just showing up, and like he was shot in front of his store, which was in the hood. Right. It was on Slauson. I've been by there. Like he's, you know. I feel like this. I feel like the feeling I walked away with was just that black people are not safe.
Yeah.
Period. The end.
Yep.
Yes.
And there's nothing you can say. You know, what else are you going to say? Black people are not safe, period. So what does that mean? If black people are not safe, then guess what? I'm not safe, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if they're not safe, every other minority, anyone who identifies with struggle in the context of this country is also not safe after that. However, for whatever reason, no one cares until it trickles to them, their person. You know what I'm saying? If my beige ass body was not safe in the street, how would I operate in the world? Literally. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, we have so many conversations to have because we do have to talk about color. Nobody really wants to talk about color. We will talk about race now, finally. But we will not talk about color. It's too hard. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes people feel this. It makes people feel that. Whatever. You know what I mean? But all these conversations we are going to have around things like Nipsey Hussle passing away,
And speaking
being
of
murdered.
conversations with him, he was about to have a meeting with the LAPD and gang members to try to come together. So he wasn't like he understood the system and that he had to get in and work with the cops. I don't know what the meeting was going to be about or why, but it sounded like a move in the right direction.
I feel like, you know, from like historically just knowing about like his community work, I highly doubt that he was gonna do anything but rep for his side.
Sure, I'm sure.
And just like, you know what I mean? And like, what do these things mean, right? We always have to really ask, what does the meeting mean? We should know. We look it up.
I think he was gonna be a rat.
What? Never. I don't believe that for a second.
No, I mean, like this person, like, do they even know who did this?
Oh, like that. I think they'll find them. It's probably someone really young and really reckless, and someone who, because the youth, I will say, from working with youth, the youth are really removed from the idea of community a lot of the time. Not all of them, but a lot of them, because I don't care. Anyone that has to complain about anything young people are doing, you just need to look at yourself. I'm sorry. Anything you could complain about young people, their music, their culture, the way that they are reckless, I literally just say, go to the mirror if you are an adult and you are the generation before them, and look at yourself.
Well, reckless is a part of developing and growing.
Sure.
I mean, mentally, you don't make.
I'm reckless. Okay.
Well, you know what I'm saying. When you're a teen, all sorts of things are happening,
sure.
and oh, by the way, you're in a community that's under assault. So there's a lot happening. Just being a kid is difficult.
Of course.
Forget about,
You're already in a pressure cooker.
Right, exactly.
So what's gonna happen, right? It's like all these things we're seeing, like the generations collide.
I love how you say it was one of your acceptance when you won an award for what?
So that award, is like, it's like the award of awards for after school educators.
Yeah, and then
I had no idea it was coming.
The most important thing, and that's why I'm wearing the earrings, is the earrings remind you of your youth, right?
Oh yeah.
And you remind people to remember the youth in them, the little person in them.
You started by asking me before we got into Nipsey Hussle, like, well, how do I stay connected? Honestly, and I was saying it's fucked up, but it's trauma. You know, trauma sort of freezes you. If you've been through something, if you think about it, really, like these, like you go through these like life-changing, maybe events that have like a more negative energy on them, and they traumatize you, because you know, like you make humor from it, like I do too, for myself though, not publicly, right?
I see it, yeah.
But it's how I cope. It helps me. But like for me, like I realized like it froze me a little, which is a beautiful thing. It's why I look so young. You know what I mean? But it's also why I haven't changed my style in 22 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a 14-year-old girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just like sort of like there is a teenager in me. There is.
Yeah.
And instead of being at war with her all the time, I'm just now, like this year, starting to just be like cool with her. Like, you are there. You are 36 with baby hair.
Well, you remind me of also the...
This is not 36-year-old hair. It's baby hair.
Oh, someone tried to cut my hair recently, and they tried to go up where my natural I said, if you don't get away from there...
Was they black? Were they Puerto
yes.
Rican?
Actually, he has his... He's black.
Where did they grow up?
They tried to edge her out. I think his son or daughter is half Dominican.
But what is he?
He's black. I was like,
this is
and he
disturbing.
started to go.
My sister, they edged her for her senior picture, and now this is a picture that's in my mom's house forever. And then they like took away her baby hair. They gave her like what you would give like a male actor.
Yeah.
And then she just had her hair behind it. It looked crazy.
How dare
Yeah, I
they?
was like, if you, what you doing?
That's
You
an
should,
assault.
for her birthday, like one year, make a like patron saint like out of that, and like in a card. I'll help you. We'll collage it at my job.
Oh my god! All right,
All right,
I'm down.
all right.
Oh, and I just also wanted to say I've had this since I was 5, so I understand.
If
I
you want to
feel
get
short.
rid of it,
Oh, you've had that jacket since you were
Yes,
5?
I have
love it.
2 of them.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Wow.
Made of recycled paper.
It's it's like probably one of the best pieces you'll ever. It's so good.
Yeah,
It
I
is
love
so good. I love it. Serious.
Well,
So yeah, so the traumatized teenager. Yes.
But what I like
That's
about
why.
you, and what I was talking to someone recently, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't present yourself as the victim.
Because I'm not.
But you know something I'm noticing with the younger generation, and this is just my opinion, okay? So, and I'm sure a lot
Tell
of
me.
people.
No, I love this.
Say what you wanna
Millennials
say.
are they claim they like to be the victim. I've noticed.
Mm.
And I am of a generation where it's like you work hard,
Oh yeah.
you do what you
Poverty,
need to
shame. If you're
Things-
poor, you have every opportunity in this country. Blah blah fucking blah, and that's ingrained in you, and that's why you hard on yourself.
do. I'm
that way.
so hard on myself, and I'll complain after I've done the hard work.
Sure.
After I'm not getting stuff from the hard work, I may sit in it for like a day or two,
Mm.
but I never claim that things are unfair to me first. And that's something I've been noticing from this younger generation is where it's good to address the inequalities and the unfairness and the things that are set against us as marginalized groups, but it's what's getting left out is that idea of work.
Mm.
I see it.
So that's interesting because there is a call out culture with millennia.
Yeah.
And there is like a for whatever, like there's also like a lot of things like there's like a romantic relationship to things like spirituality and like our ancestries and like all these things. And what's happened is that while we wanted this, right? We wanted people to get connected to their identity, to their culture, to rewrite the stories, to come away from trauma. But what happens is that all we have is this very capitalistic environment, and so what happens is everything becomes commodities. So it's not an authentic journey for everyone. It's this identity, I'm gonna use this part of it and I'm gonna make money off of it, or maybe sell it back to y'all and make you think, it's just like, like look what, like all of the things we talk about, like for example, like I'm sitting at a table of black women.
Yeah.
This is so funny that I would say this to y'all. But like you already know. Hello, look at what's happening. No, seriously.
Right.
Seriously, listen to me. Seriously.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell me that black women couldn't go to work with fake hair the way they wanted it, real hair the way that they wanted it. When they would walk by, if their waist was so small and their hips were so wide, I mean, people would make comments at them in workplace. I've seen this. I have seen this my whole life. You have gone through it your whole life. And then anyone in the likeness of black women who's of color, you know what I'm saying, also has gone through this. But then y'all bitches are selling this to you, just gonna take it and then you're gonna sell it back. That's the capitalist environment. Is that it's
Kardashian.
appropriation. It was not good for you, but it's great. It's like what Kendrick Lamar was like, we're gonna raise your hood. The hood is a pot of gold. The hood is a pot of gold. Who's in the hood? You know what I'm saying? Like it is a pot of gold. Everything about American culture started where? I mean, like really, whatever's being sold and forced and like pushed out to the world is black culture.
Making me
Ooh,
mad.
I
Now I'm stressed
love
out.
her.
It is.
I love you.
But it just is.
Isn't she great?
Yeah.
I could just listen to you all day and not like talk
Guys,
at all.
we wanted to let you know I'm taking over the podcast. We want to tell you like this.
Well, that's why it's something like a Jussie Smollett situation.
Jesse now.
I know. By
What
the
do you
way,
think about that?
Yeah.
Talk about Nipsey Hussle. Talk about Jussie Smollett. People are saying conspiracy, conspiracy. There's a theme here. We can't just look away and be like, y'all crazy. There's no good. Mira, it's a conspiracy maybe. We don't know. These companies,
Mira.
everything is about the companies
Yeah.
and their money.
Yeah.
We are becoming like prisoners to just
Jails
a few
are
companies.
for profit. Jails are
All of them
profit
almost.
makers. Jails are not there to rehabilitate people and make
No.
them better humans and come back out. Everything is for
never
profit.
were.
No, they never.
So let me ask,
No.
did you guys see that Chris Rock made
I sure did.
addressed it? And it's interesting to me that I was at the Comedy Cellar on Saturday when I saw the headline, and I just thought,
What do you say?
Yeah.
well, okay, so let me set it up for you. Chris Rock rips Jussie Smollett.
He doesn't believe him,
Can
right?
you play it?
No,
you can't
he
play
does
it.
not.
No,
This
I
is a
don't
short
wanna.
clip.
I don't want.
Are you all afraid to tell me what you think?
I
No.
am. So
Okay,
I'm
good.
not. I'm not
I'm
at
a little
all. I
biased.
called it from the get.
Well, you're from Chicago, so you must know
I've
about
been
their-
doing jokes about it, and so I was a little annoyed
Oh.
that he did it because I was like, I kind of. Well, see, the thing is like on Saturday when I saw the headline, what were you thinking? I was like,
You
why?
mean the
Is,
Chris Rock?
can I finish this thought? This is the thing. I know I always rip into her.
She
'cause I
can
do.
Trevor what you does.
I can, but I can do this to Terry.
Just
I
thank you
know.
for wearing
Take it
hoops. Thank
so
you for making me
well.
wear hoops. That's all I have to say.
But the thing is the Chris Rock, that being a headline, Chris Rock was saying, what were you thinking? I was like, why is that a headline? Because we were all saying that. Why is that a headline? And then I realized, I was so annoyed by it. I was like, wait, so Chris Rock says it, so now it's gold. Okay, all right.
That's another issue, though. But
That's another issue that I won't go into,
Yeah.
but I've noticed that, just real fast, and I'm gonna step out of it, is that there are black men who are also gatekeepers in our community of entertainment, deciding who and what needs to be said and who or what needs to be accepted as far as talent. Now I know someone recently from our podcast was like, why are you always attacking black men? I was like, 'cause it's our time, bitches. But I'm just like, I just saw that, and I was wondering what you guys thought about it, because, yeah, what did you think about it?
There was no new thought there. That's stuff that's been said by everybody. So the light skin part I found interesting though.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was surprised that he went into the whole joke.
Did you think it was funny?
What did he
Well,
say?
the way he couched it
Just
was,
sum
he
it
goes,
up.
I'm supposed
Here,
to not talk.
I'll try to play it.
If you could play, but he basically was like, I'm not supposed to talk about Jesse. And then,
Yeah.
of course, he goes in, and that's half the joke, too. It's like,
He said
He does
He
the
said that
Chris
he
Rock
would
thing.
use-
He looks.
right.
He
and
said
then-
what they said.
Yeah.
No Jussie Smollett jokes. What a waste of light skin. You know what I could do with that light skin, that curly hair.
Oh yeah, I
My
heard
career
this.
That's
would
a
be
Paul
out
Bettany
of here. I would be
Very.
running Hollywood. What the hell was he thinking? You are Jesse from now on. You don't even get the you anymore. That you is respect. You ain't getting no respect from me. So that, I was talking to like Keith Robinson. He was like, it was just funny. But then I talked to my sister who's younger, and she was like, well, the whole light skin thing. And I was like, yeah, I forgot that. That's
Yeah.
tone deaf.
I
Yes, it
actually, okay, I don't know. I
There was a
almost
lot of agreement in
feel
the
like,
audience that
Yeah,
there are a lot of cutaways where
I
everybody
feel
was.
like, I don't know, man. Maybe amongst black people, like skin talk, like
well
it's happening.
It's still
The thing-
happening.
the
It's,
thing-
it's still
It's
happening.
happening, and it has
yes.
to.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's got it. I feel like anyone else cannot make this joke or even touch on it, but
well I don't. So here's my thing though. If you know about Chris Rock's romantic history, he is steady with light skinned women.
then so
Now
guess
this-
what? Then you
now
need
this
to
a
go
white
write,
woman,
write
right?
a joke,
Like
Marina.
Exactly. So it's
Marina,
like
write a joke about that.
Yeah.
so like
Well,
for real.
one
So
is right there.
For
I'll
what
take
I
it.
heard
There
that.
you go. So what about
So I heard
that?
So when I heard that though, I was like,
Mhm.
you.
Right.
There's something there
Critical.
inside of yourself that has nothing to do with this joke. You could have skipped that whole part.
Because maybe it's not really a joke.
No, because it's a brown
Maybe
skinned man
because he's
talking about a
saying-
good looking, no matter what Jesse did, he's still.
And maybe
yeah.
his feelings like that about himself are what push him to
Correct.
to get someone that he sees more light in the light of that
Now,
standard.
Chris Rock, I love.
But I'm not him.
I'm not
so-
gonna say I don't love Chris Rock. I do. I know.
We all have a- we love him.
he's been known to approach people after podcasts and grab them up and go, "I'm still from Brooklyn, nigga."
Yeah.
So
Pull up.
I don't want
Pull
him.
up.
I don't
You
want
can
him.
find me on. You know where to find me, Chris Rock. Shit.
I don't want him coming up to
I'm
me and
Monty
going,
in the street.
"You the one light, bitch. I don't want motherfucker." You know, I'm just saying. Let's think of
Pull
this.
up on me.
This is a talking point, Chris.
Chris.
I'm all city. I'm all city, Chris.
Chris, Nonye Brown-West said that. I'd love to meet you. So.
But I did notice that even after that, the young lady from Blackish,
Yes.
Yara
Yara.
Shahidi?
Mhm.
Yara Shahidi showed support for Jesse.
Yes. Because it's still torn because who believes the Chicago PD? Who believes them? You
I
know
don't
what mean?
believe the Chicago PD. I will stand with him before I stand with Chicago PD.
Exactly. So there's just so many
come on,
levels. Like
Jesse.
even if I believe that he's lying about
Right.
something, like
Hell yeah.
I've been a victim.
I
of a
believe
hate
he's lying,
crime.
by the way. I
Yes,
put that
I
out
do.
there.
I do too because you don't.
But
I've
I
been a
side
victim of
with
a
him.
hate crime. It's not something that you go on TV and like boast about.
He said
Even
he
if
was
you're
the gay
famous,
Tupac.
even if you're famous,
You're a
He
victim
said
of.
that. He said it.
he did.
He was like, I'm a little
See,
boy.
and that's what I'm saying. Like the victim,
Like, relax, dude.
victim, like he was.
That is druggy behavior, though.
That's crazy.
But it was also like I said, it's like this generation of playing the victim. And he
Mm.
played into.
Without the struggle.
Yeah.
But he does have struggle. But why not just talk about your struggle?
But what I'm saying.
Why are
is
you
he
acting
was-
like you're the gay Tupac
he
when you're
was
not the gay
using it.
Tupac, bro? Just be your struggle. You have mad struggle,
And
bro.
this is a monumental fuck up to me because of Trump in office.
Ooh.
There are people who
They-
are getting fucked up by
Of
MAGA
course.
supporters,
Yeah.
are being hurt, attacked. The people down in Charlotte, was it Charlottesville?
Everywhere.
I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's
And it was before
really
Trump.
happening, and you just fucked it up.
Well, let's talk
for
about
those
this,
of us who
y'all.
are really being attacked.
9 Black Lives Matter activists are dead, and
Right,
nobody
that's
really
right.
knows
And
why
nobody-
or
right,
how.
right.
9 whole people that
Mm.
were prominent, and this is not one state, one city. I mean, that would even be horrible. That would be fucked up. 9 people are dead, and nobody really knows the story. It's
Yeah.
all funny. It's all fishy. However, I'm the gay Tupac is gonna get the most
And the
attention.
troubled man gets the most
And I want to go
attention,
back to Nonye.
which is
You
what
were-
I think he
you
was,
had
too.
a.
It's not, you know.
You're right.
I want to go back to Nonye because she had a real.
I love this energy, guys.
I just want to make sure she
You
gets
and
this
Marina
out.
and Terri.
Because you were saying that you were the victim of a hate crime.
I was. And when I was 18 years old, it is not something that you even want to. So I was at a party. With white friends. I lived in a white suburb. I was home from college, and we just went to this party. Slowly throughout the night, the person who lived at this house, the one teenager that lived at this house, I noticed just staring at me a lot, like talking to his friends. I didn't know what was being said. So me and somebody that I was getting romantic with went to a different room. In that room was a Confederate flag, huge, biggest one I've ever seen, and that should have been they should have been a red flag right there to leave, but that is not. I didn't think that I was in danger still, and he walked in, and he. I was kissing this person. He walked in, pulled me off this person, threw my purse out the window, put me on a chokehold, started punching me in the head.
Was that
calling-
person you were kissing? I'm just wondering. Were they white?
They were white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did
and
they jump in?
So all of our other friends at the party jumped in, and they were crying as they jumped in because they had no idea that their friend was a racist. They didn't know this. And they were like, get off her, leave her alone. He was calling me a nigger and a coon.
What
And that's
the
so for me,
fuck?
when I heard the Jussie Smollett
It's
thing,
basically what happened to you is what he kind of
like
wished
what
happened
he
to
wished
him.
happened to him. So when I
Right.
heard that, and I'm part of the gay community in Boston. I live in New York now, but I do a lot with the gay community up there, the fundraising, everything. And there's so many people that still have this story, not in POC people that still
Wait,
have
do you
this
know my
story.
girl Flor C. Romero? Women of Color in Solidarity. You from Boston?
I'm from Boston.
You gotta. I will connect you.
Okay, very cool. We'll talk about.
But let her finish this
But-
point. Yeah.
My whole thing is there are so many of us. I feel like the flood behind him to support him, those were a lot of people who maybe went through that same thing, but we don't talk about it because it's not something that you want to talk about because it's very traumatic.
Yeah.
I've only like spoken about it publicly maybe like 3 times, and that's when Trump won and there was a neo-Nazi rally planned in my home city. That's I spoke about it on a different podcast that was specifically about race, and that you don't want to boast about these things, but I feel like a lot of the people that wanted to believe him, it's because that happened to them, and that's why so many people are hurt.
I think you're right.
But at the same time, we can't trust the police. We're in a horrible time in this country everywhere where you can't trust the police. So there's still that glimmer of maybe some of this is true. They found that the check he wrote was just for training. Like, we just want to believe.
Well, the cop has a history of being just only for cops. The black cop.
Stop right there.
Yeah, if you look into, my sister had posted something that day about before you want to slap them on the back and go, thanks for doing this, look at their history and look what they've done. And look at how, I think there was the case in Chicago with the young kid that was shot behind the back, that he was like supporting the cops, not the actual, they hid that story. That's why Rahm Emanuel is actually out, because he hid that story for such a long time.
And then did you see that he came out and called Jesse disgusting and said that
Rahm Emanuel?
Yeah, he went off on Jesse.
He said
Rahm Emanuel is a Zionist war criminal. He's a war criminal. He is. He supports it. He's another person with this mysterious dual citizenship that only exists to certain nations, you know what I'm saying? Which this country supports financially in the billions, you understand? So it doesn't surprise me that someone like Rahm Emanuel would say that, talk like that and then have done the exact thing in all you know what I'm saying?
Supported the police when they did something.
Exactly.
In reaction to I'm so sorry that happened with you, and
Thank you for
so many of us.
But one of the things I heard, smartest things I heard, and I wish I remember who the contributor was on MSNBC, but she said, a woman of color, I'll remember some other time, but she says, while Jussie may have not been telling the truth, it is okay to believe him initially.
Exactly.
It's that you have to let people know it's nothing. If you said, you know what, I'm supporting you, I'm sorry, brother, this happened, and you went on Instagram, because I know a lot of my friends went straight up on Instagram and were like, we're with you, solidarity, we got your back, we're praying, da da da. I'm come from a journalist background. She didn't mention this, but I worked at NBC for 20-something years.
You come from a journalist background.
Yeah, well, see what I'm saying? Oh, see what I'm saying? So what? But and all kidding aside, I was like, something didn't feel right. So I posted it for no joke, 20 minutes, and I was like, let me take this down because we need to do more research. I don't know what's going on. But my point is, I still was like, if this happened to him, the first thing I will say, we got you, we got your back. So we need to do that. So it's okay that did he probably make it up? It's my opinion that he made it up for reasons. Because I think he's a troubled man.
Yeah.
I don't think he did it in the sound mind and I want to fight the power by
possible.
lying.
Yeah.
He's just a troubled human being who I think did the wrong thing and at a really wrong fucking time with the wrong man in the White House. But we still have to support, and I like that she said that, so that you didn't feel like a cold asshole if you were one of the people who was like, I got you. It's okay that you did that.
Exactly.
So I think that's important to point out.
And that probably comes from a place of trauma. A lot of those people who believed him initially, me included, is because we're like, oh, yes, this has happened to me. This is a believable story in America.
The story you just told.
Right.
It's happening
you just
all the time.
told the craziest story, and it's not that crazy.
No, it's very normal.
No. I mean, God bless you going in a room with the Confederate flag.
But I've only heard of this.
Well, you were young, though, so that's a whole other thing.
I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't know.
Well, you're with somebody who you think likes you and has
in New York. I didn't know what that was.
I didn't know. It wasn't his house. It was at other dude's house. And I trusted my other friends to not bring me to a place where I was going to get.
Yeah, my daddy used to pull guys aside when I dated guys. He pulled them aside. I did a lot of white boys. I was engaged to a couple of white boys, but my daddy would he'd be nice, and they'd come in the house, and when I was upstairs getting dressed and all cute, my daddy would pull them aside and say, don't you take my daughter. I found out the hard way. One of them was like, your father just pulled me aside and told me not to take you to a place unsafe. And he knew that you were knew that I was taking you to this. I grew up in a white place up in Westchester County, and I hung out. A lot of my friends were Jewish and Italian. Dated mostly white guys, just because that's what
was available,
and that's who was around up in Westchester.
Sure.
And my dad pulled people aside, and they were like, they knew not to take it. I didn't know. I was like, okay, let's go to the bar. I'd be at some bar with all white boys who didn't like me, who now I know.
Westchester cops and stuff.
I mean, yeah, and so, but anyway, but you don't know. I didn't know.
You do attract racist white guys.
I do not.
It's the light.
I
It's
try.
the light.
Because you look
She
like
said
you
it's
could
the
get,
safe.
you look
It's
like
a
you
safe.
get on a motorcycle with the Hell's Angels at any
Jesus.
I
time.
would have. I would have been a Chuck Zito. No, I don't even know who Chuck Zito is. I would have hung out with Chuck Zito. He was
See?
I would.
See?
I like motivation.
That story was just
Yeah, I want to say thank
wanna
you
give
so
you
much
you
for sharing that.
sharing
because
that
is-
space
Yeah.
and holding that.
Those are the things that lead to you wanting to still now believe
Of
Yeah.
justice
And that's
is not
okay.
lying.
And that's okay that you believed it.
Yeah.
Of course.
I didn't buy it, but I'm just saying.
I feel like we don't. Here's what I think. I think we do not have all the information. I don't believe it.
Look, I don't need the
But
information.
I don't need the
I know
information.
Chicago cold, man.
That's what I'm saying.
There was a lot of
I
holes in
say
that story.
My next thing was fuck the police. That's me though.
Fuck the police, but I know
That's
there were
me.
holes in that story from the first day
Me too.
because I called my sister Ashley. My sister Ashley is more hood than I am, and she was like, ain't none of Chicago believe in that,
Yeah.
you know. And she was
I
like,
think it. When I say we don't have the whole story, I think there's something else. I think that there's something missing, and I think that
A
he
lot.
is part of a network that has some really strange history
Yes.
around race and some
Absolutely.
really strange history around fucking this fuck shit. And I think that that show was about to drop a new season. It
I
is
agree.
so strange. I think it's just definitely
that was my
not that
sister's
hard
theory, too.
to figure out that network is also playing a role.
I
You
mean,
know,
Nigerians.
why they had to do the Nigerians like
And
that?
then they said they were when
Nigerians
whiteface.
already out here scamming.
They said Nigerians and whiteface. Nigerians.
Come
can't
on,
do whiteface
Nigerians
that
are
well.
not doing all of that though.
Why are you gonna try to
They
whiteface
on the
us?
internet.
It's whiteface
You won the
first.
lottery, sister.
Yes.
You won.
So
As a Nigerian, I can
Your
confirm.
bank account will get the transfer in 3 days.
I know. It's like, how
That's
can
Jamaican.
No,
Yeah,
that's
what
not
accent
Jamaican.
is that? That is not
I'm like, how
Nigerian.
can you not hear the accent? That's
I know.
there's
What?
no way
I
they
have
can
too many
say.
West Indians
make
around here
America
to
great.
get Nigerian right.
They look good though in those photos.
They
do.
Yes.
The
Say.
guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will never get sick
I
of
won't
seeing
even
those
look.
photos. I
Can
never
I-
see.
If we could do a calendar of
Oh,
those
God.
guys. Okay, so let's talk about Cardi B after now. Because you bring up a good point. Like, see, this is another thing that I watched, and when Cardi B was talking, okay, so let me set it up.
Can you
A new
explain
video has resurfaced that has led to backlash and controversy for Cardi B. Cardi says it was made 3 years ago, and it features her reminiscing about the time when she worked as a stripper, a time when she said, "I drug niggas as that's it, and I robbed them." I dropped niggas and I robbed them.
Wow.
Cardi has since confirmed the video. That's my impression. You know, because that's what. And the video is real and apologized for it after it caused an uproar on social media. She says, "I made the choices I did at the time because I had very limited options." She wrote on Instagram post on Tuesday. Some fans have started tweeting under the hashtag surviving Cardi B. A reference to the
Ridiculous.
Lifetime docuseries about R. Kelly's
No.
alleged sexual
This
abuse.
is awful.
Okay.
Many have
Bill
compared
Cosby.
Cardi's actions to those of both Kelly and the
Are you
similarities
fucking
disgraced
kidding
Bill
me?
Cosby. Some believe that this won't hurt Cardi in the long term. Vox writer Constance Grady, they put her ass out there. The Vox writer, this bitch said, Cardi has always sold herself as a hustler. This story won't hurt her. The scandal is overshadowing
Mhm.
Cardi for the first time, but it seems unlikely to slow her down
Y'all
for long.
tried.
Okay.
Go.
Y'all
Mm.
tried.
Y'all-
Y'all tried to get our patron saint.
Okay.
But you cannot. We will uphold her
Mm.
and take communion with her.
Mm.
So fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. First of all, Cardi B never lied. Start there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she was always who she was.
That's one.
Yeah.
Second of all, every single man you could compare her to lied. Every single one.
For years.
Oh no, just they all
Right.
they and also, how many sex workers are raped, drugged,
Exactly.
robbed every fucking hour?
Yep.
Thank you.
And I don't know any of their names.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about them, and I never will, because nobody will honor their body, nobody will honor their story, nobody will honor who they are, but a couple of fuck ass dudes get robbed by Cardi B. They're probably bragging about it right now in a bar somewhere. Like, she robbed me in 2013. I took her home from the club. She robbed. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cardi B is also 26 years old, y'all.
Exactly.
Fucking 3 years ago, she was 23.
She's a child.
Are
She's
you
a child.
serious right now? The bitch just became an adult. Like,
And
fuck
her
out
brain
of
is
here.
still not formed
We
according to
are
science.
according
Exactly.
to science. This is just closing up.
That's right.
We love her. We don't give a fuck who she robbed. Fuck them. They weren't smart enough. Oh well. No, seriously.
Sex work.
Is a fucking fuck cluster.
Yep.
People gonna get robbed. People, as long
That's
as
what I
women are
said.
getting
How many-
raped, I'm gonna care more about that. About them getting raped, kidnapped, and trafficked. Before I care about the John who's spending the money on them. Fuck him and his good time.
And how many times?
Take
did she
your
get
money
robbed?
and give it to
Isn't
your
that what she
kids.
said?
Take
She
your money
said
and
they
get your
come-
girlfriend a
they come to
pedicure
fuck
then.
me, and then they. That was horrible.
That's how I
She's
feel.
like, that's just.
I know guys who got robbed by sex workers in the DR, got robbed by sex workers all over the world, and oh
That
well.
comes with it.
Oh well, don't buy sex, bitch.
That's how I feel.
That's how
I was
feel.
like, someone was like, well,
Don't
you know,
do
like
it.
a guy and.
You should feel a little unsafe, motherfucker. How about that?
Yes.
How about you should feel a little unsafe when you walk in a room with a bitch that you're paying for instead of her feeling like she might die going off with you to suck
Also,
your dick.
when I saw the video of Cardi
Because you
B
suck. You gotta pay
talking,
for sex. Come on.
well, you know, yes. Well, when I
Yeah.
saw the video,
Big up to all my hoes. I love them.
But when I saw the video, I had nothing but empathy for her
Of
because
course
she
I did.
seems so like we talk about trauma.
Because she doesn't want to do bad.
Yeah.
Guess
but
what?
that video, she looks it's an old right.
She
So
was in a horrible industry.
she's-
Well, let me not say that because there are changes happening in the sex work
Yeah.
industry
Sex workers
because of the
are-
work of sex workers.
Yep.
So like you had the New York City stripper strike. Shout out to my sister Giselle. You know what I'm saying? You know, no, seriously, shout out. No, seriously, this is real work.
No,
like
it is.
this
Sex
is
work
like
is real work,
you know what
it
I'm
is.
saying? Like women are like, get the fuck out of here. I want insurance.
But the majority
You know
are
what I'm
not
saying?
protected. The majority are still.
They are not.
Yeah.
They are not protected. Their bodies are not protected. And let's talk about. I mean, like, and that's just sex workers. Now, when we go to part B, black and brown sex
Exactly.
Or
workers.
transgender.
Or then part
transsexual,
three, trans
transsexual,
sex
more,
workers.
yeah.
And most a lot of trans work. I don't want to call Korea. Fucking Korea is sex work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the reality.
Yeah.
And that has to do with what? Men.
Survival. Yeah.
And survival.
But what about
and
these
male
men
culture.
who feel like it's just not fair right now because of the Me Too movement for women and now
Are the ones
It's just
whining
not
that
fair.
they're all
that I mean
attacking
I'm
us?
just throwing out there. This is
No,
what
what
I've
I'm saying,
heard.
what do they say? What's not
They're
fair?
like
I
they're
wanna
saying
know.
We don't know what to
you-
do, and now
Shows you who I'm hanging out with, right? Like, tell me what they're saying.
They're saying, like,
Tell me what these
they're
guys are
basically using the Cosby argument. They're saying like you gotta, you know, you can't
What's at the root of
treat
their argument?
brothers like that.
No.
and-
What's the
They're
real
saying,
root?
They're saying at the root of it is misogyny.
But what are they really saying? They're rich. Those women knew. These men are rich.
Mm-hmm.
Those women knew. Because why? Because in this society, you having money, it just means that you can just do what the fuck you want to anybody at any time. That is the root of their argument.
that's true.
Those women knew. He is a millionaire. They knew what
Same
they
thing
were
with Harvey
doing.
Weinstein. The women had even admitted
These
they
are
wanted
men that
tapes.
don't believe
Yeah.
you could rape your wife.
Right.
These are the kind.
Trump.
They are not
Mhm.
even on the level of like I could rape my wife. Like
Mhm.
that could happen. Like I could get drunk and for. They don't even. So we're dealing with men that haven't. They're not even in the conversation
Right.
about like safety.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like this is where we're at.
Well, this brings us to another point. Thank you for talking about men and safety. Let's talk about Joe Biden for a second. And this story, although I do want to believe all women and hear all women, this story annoys
It's
me.
weird.
Well, I saw her speak about it, and I agree with a lot of things that she said was that, you know, like this, she doesn't compare it to rape. She knows it's different. But she did say that she didn't know Biden. It was a very important moment for her. So Flores recalls the incident by saying Biden was the second most powerful man in the country and arguably one of the most powerful men in the world. He was there to promote me as the right person for the lieutenant governor job. Instead, he made me feel uneasy, gross, and confused. And Biden's been caught on camera embracing a female reporter from behind, gripping her above her waist, just below her bust, at a swearing-in ceremony for Defense Secretary. So, and then there's a picture that just came out today where they're showing that's been going around, and the woman was like, that's not what was happening. What was happening was he was supporting me, he was comforting me, and it was a very important moment for me, and this is a lie, what you guys are putting out there. This image of Biden coming behind me was actually in a very important moment that I needed support, and he was there for me.
Did that picture come out after that story?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, well, that's part of mainstream media's fuck up. They just, now they're fucking up something, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair, that's not fair at all.
What do you mean?
They put out a picture that
They
made
go-
it look to
just like the
support
Cardi
what,
B
oh,
thing.
right,
They go
exactly,
backwards
to
and then
support,
they
instead of doing it
regurgitate
in context,
it
and,
or
doing their
and-
homework.
and doing it right, and asking the woman, like, what did you think? I mean,
The woman said she was approached in her hallway of her apartment building about that photo, and she's like, yeah, no.
She said what you just told
Yeah,
us,
she
which
said,
is,
no,
wasn't
this
what
was
it-
not
yeah.
the moment.
And they still,
So what about this argument where the Democrats just get on board of tearing down the person, and like they,
With Al Franken.
that's a disgrace.
this is what they're gonna, are they gonna do this again? Like, this is the thing that
They'll have nobody
Democrats,
left.
like, I get this woman, hear this woman,
Mhm.
definitely, yeah, she has every
He
right.
probably is a gross white man.
Yeah, he
I mean,
does.
there's
He's
nothing
obviously
that would
like-
make me think otherwise.
Him smelling her hair and she doesn't,
I'm
right.
sorry.
Damn.
Terri.
Well, look,
Old white
him
men do
smelling
not
her
know
hair in that
boundaries, that's
moment
true.
isn't
Yeah.
appropriate.
I
There's no
wouldn't-
doubt about that. But
But hold on, yeah, but
let's,
go ahead.
but you know, like, how many men? I mean, I know a lot of men who have always been like, all right, you don't need to touch me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that happens in that moment. I don't know why we're, let's discuss it. Let's say what she said, which is this needs to be a conversation because in an office place, this would be considered sexual harassment. But in her position, it's not because there's no one who's being held accountable.
Right.
I think we're learning we gotta go down the road of really, really open communication from the gate. So that is gonna have to just look different in the way we fucking operate. Everything is crashing. The way we do everything is fucking not working.
I love
If-
people touching me.
I was just gonna say
That's me. I'm speaking for myself.
I am just gonna say that I love to touch people.
You don't
I
like
am
touching
like, how am I, Marina? In that, I'm like, mommy, la, la, la,
Terri, I don't like you touching.
come over here, and not everybody likes that. I have obviously not encountered a lot of people that don't like me, but no kidding.
Plus, it's New
No,
York.
but it's
New York
New
is
York.
a very touchy.
Well, basically, you go in the subway and 3 people on your lap,
Yeah.
so it's like 3 people,
Naked arms.
Well, let me ask you guys something. Her bringing this up right now, the man's about to.
It's very
formally
suspicious,
announce-
I find, but I still-
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just know from the headlines what she said and basically what you just read. But do you think it was right for her to bring this up? And it wasn't. And again, I'm not saying that all assaults aren't created equal. Being drugged and raped is one thing.
And
Being hugged and I didn't
This
feel.
was
I
her
didn't like
answer.
that.
You want me to answer what she
yeah,
said?
I do want to hear.
She
and I want to
said
know your
that
thing
she
too.
knows that's the argument.
Right, you said that.
Let me finish, Terri.
All right,
Terri.
All right.
come on.
So basically, she said she knew that argument would be brought up. Is why did she bring this up now? Is it the right time? And she's saying that because there are so many really great candidates.
I see.
That she feels there's so many options on the table that we need to look
This
at.
ain't your best option.
Yeah, it's if there had been a lack of options, she
Wow.
probably wouldn't have.
But that's really also kind of fucked too.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
somebody,
That's her point.
yeah.
And that's her point. Is in the past there weren't as many options, and so to speak up was more difficult because she had to be quiet for the bigger cause.
Yeah, when I hear this type of shit, my mind just goes into total darkness because it makes me just think about like all the people like sitting in jail who are innocent, like it is really fucked up.
And all the things that the man
To
in the
not
White
be
House now.
believed.
Well, they had women lined up who said that Trump's
Exactly.
assaulted them. He said he assaults women, and Biden has a hug. Now, again, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not,
But I know what
come
you're saying.
on,
Like what you're saying is like you have like these confessionals of like, and with like proof
Grab
and
them by
like
the pussy.
emails. Yeah, right.
We forgot about
Now
that.
I'll play devil's advocate.
Oh, please do.
What if one of the guys that Cardi B robbed says, I need
Mhm.
to be believed and I need to be heard?
Okay.
So we're gonna say, okay, you, first of all, this conversation about rape, bitch. That's what we're gonna say. Second of all,
So
you want a conversation about getting robbed, then let's have a conversation about getting robbed. But this is a conversation about fucking rape
That's
and
really
rape
good point.
culture.
Yeah,
This is not, rape culture is what you did.
Right.
Getting you a prostitute for the night is rape culture. She gotta do that work because you need that work.
Right.
So if you want to talk about that, let's talk.
Thank
I'm in
you.
love.
I just wanted to bring that because I could hear someone listening going, well, they seem to
Oh my god, what am I doing when Cardi B robbing guys? Shut the fuck up. That's what I have to say. No, seriously.
No, you're right. I keep forgetting it's a robbery, not a...
I love it. I love
Cardi
it.
B didn't give you no drug to get your dick hard or get pregnant by you, you know, to have your baby in a rapey way or whatever they come up. They always come up with some story, the men, of how, you know what I'm saying? You know, really, men are raping other men. Okay? That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So let's talk, y'all, because y'all getting raped by men too. So what's up? What is so hard about this that they don't want to just like talk about it?
Yeah.
Cardi B went and robbed somebody. Oh,
And I'm friends with strippers and sex workers, and they get robbed a lot. Can we just talk about that? So it's like this was her
3-4
when
times
she
a year.
said that this is what she had to do to live. I believe that shit because
I believe it.
she should have been coming home with stacks. What happened?
Can I ask you a question too? What about this? What about Cardi B leaves the strip club? She's told a man 3 times, I don't fuck for money. I don't fuck for money. I don't fuck for money. She does, but I don't, right? The guy keeps pressing. I'm going to tell you a real story. The guy keeps pressing. The guy keeps pressing. The guy keeps pressing. He's drinking more. He's throwing more. She's 20 years old, 21 years old. Come with me to this hotel. Okay. She does not owe him sex because she agreed to go to the hotel with a man who's throwing dollars on her, right? They go to the hotel. He's still saying, I want to have sex with you. I want to do this with you. I want to do that for you. He's pressuring her. She feels like she's going to get raped. You got to go down for a nap, bitch. That's that. And I need my money for the night. That's probably how it went.
Right.
That is probably what it looked like.
Yeah, survival too.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what does it sound like now? In the hood, people want to be... First of all, Cardi B, you're from Highbridge, okay? For every 500 square feet, there is 10 scammers. So whoever's acting like they didn't know Cardi B, get the fuck out of here. This is like a joke.
Right. But this is the cancel, what do they call it? The cancel society?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that what
like
they're calling
cancel
it?
culture.
Cancel
Yes.
culture.
What's that?
That's a millennia thing. Like, you don't serve me, bye. It's fuckboy culture.
Oh.
What we're building is sociopaths.
Yep.
People that are not, who are going, oh, you don't serve me no more? You do.
Yeah.
You no more? You look different, but you do.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
feel that.
really-
Swipe my life.
That's right.
Not just
I was
dating,
about to say
everything.
I was just telling
Every
somebody that.
fucking thing.
Yep.
So they told themselves, it's like this weird thing, right? It's like I said with the ancestor thing, you want to honor it. You want to, those 7 generations that suffered before you, we have all this privilege and freedom here. We want to express it. We want to do what our grandmother couldn't do. We want to, fuck the world type of shit and then feel empowered. But at the same time, we're doing things like, I don't need anything. That's not healthy for me.
Because they got an experience.
But really, we don't want to follow
But they
through.
never had an experience. Everything that's happened to me is actual experiential. All my pain, all my successes, hard work. I had no idea what anybody else was doing. I didn't know that somebody else, was suffering at another company or in corporate America. I just did what I thought was right. I was called too intense. I was called. I never called anybody black.
That's
right.
good for being a
course.
black woman.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're
angry.
aggressive. We need to talk to you about how you did this story. Why'd you say Uptown? I had a white Jewish woman up in corporate who never done news called me on a story. I wrote a story. I said Uptown.
Don't talk about my people, please.
Oh, right. Oh, now you're claiming him.
You know.
And
be careful how you talk about my
but
people.
I got called for doing a story properly. But my point is all my experiences, and I can say, and Marina, we talk about the pronouns with
Yeah.
and like now they're like up in
Transgendering,
arms, up in arms about you need to call me a they or you need to call me, and we experience I'm probably the oldest person in the room. I know I am, and I've gone through some shit all from real experience, not from looking online and reading something and then saying this is how I without even
Right.
working in corporate America for more than 2 years. And by the way, nobody stays in any job for